All right, y'all. So this is your fellow yellow back again. I'm getting over the allergies. So I will have little sniffles here and there, so don't mind it. I just wanted to respond to something Pariah Disciple was saying. Don't get me wrong, I fuck with his videos. Cool brother. I just want to point out a few things. I want to inform him on what really is going on out here in the north side of the northern U.S., the northern East Coast, really the northern U.S. in general. Anywhere that's above the Mason-Dixon line. I'm gonna tell you what's really happened. I've seen the dynamic from down south. The only one thing I could say I haven't seen is West Coast, the dynamic with light-skinned people. And the reason why you probably won't see that more so is because most people in California are light-skinned. Even if they're brown-skinned, they have tans. And that's what I'm about to get into. So I did see he had like a comment about Pariah. He had a comment with like lighter brown-skinned people claiming to be light-skinned, are people putting them in that box. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. The people that are up here, they are way darker than the people down south. We have lots of Africans, Caribbeans. Black American is very rare to see, and when you do, all they do is meat ride. Yep, meat ride. That's the lingo right there that I'm gonna use to describe Black Americans up here, Africans and Caribbeans. Seldomly, where you see a Black American who actually stands their own ground and thinks the opposite of what they think. Or doesn't just go with the flow. So they're gonna jump on the light skin hate thing too, even though they're outnumbered by these, because they could hop in with the Bantus, and even though you could tell the difference, you wouldn't see any difference when they're unified. If they just try to play that role, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So they do that. I know that it's very bad down south with disrespecting the light skinned men, and I made a few videos already on this subject and how they wouldn't mess with no Puerto Rican or Dominican if there was a lot more down south or any Caribbean. They wouldn't do this. You're not safe as like a non-Puerto Rican or Dominican light skin anywhere. And if you are Puerto Rican, Dominican, and you don't look it, if you look more like you could be Black American, you don't have curly hair and you're not the stereotypical, they're gonna fuck with you. Especially up north. Like I said, it's not more so down south, because you guys may have a little bit of Haitians here and there, but you don't have as many different types of Bantus as we have here. And that's, you know what I'm saying? So all these people with this Bantu phenotype, we got to deal with them more so up north. Y'all don't understand. It is horrible. Anybody, especially them people in your comments, Pariah, telling you that, oh, this is 2025, and I don't know where the fuck you're at. Light-skinned people get privilege. Light-skinned men, especially men, get privilege up. Don't listen to anything they're saying. It's bullshit. They just be making shit up. They always do that, bro. I'm going to tell you, anything above the Mason-Dixon line, you already know below it, right? They hate light-skinned people. Go up north, it's going to get worse. Take your ass to New Jersey, to New York, to Massachusetts, Connecticut, Ohio, PA, to Indiana, Kentucky, which is Midwest. The Midwest, people forget that. That's actually the Midwest. Some people be like, oh, it's like Southern culture, but it's a mix of Northern and Southern. Missouri, Indiana, I can go on and on. Michigan. See how they treat light-skinned people. They don't like their ass. Even more so. because a lot of them are a lot more dark. Like what you'll notice is if you see most of the people down south who claim to be dark skinned, if you took their ass out the sun and they lived up north for like at least 6 months, 8 months, they would not be as dark. And that's what people forget. Like black people get suntan. You know what I'm saying? These people up here, up north, be so black they purple. So, and that's year round. So a lot of these dark skinned people from down south, I'm not saying there are some very dark skinned people from down south. More so South Carolina, and if they're from Florida, most of the time if they're really that dark, like I said, it's either sun or they're like Haitian or something. I don't know. Like I said, y'all don't really deal. There's been more of an influx of in Texas and Florida of these Caribbean and African people, but y'all don't really deal with it like how we do. We have all the Bantu phenotypes over here, and type of people and cultures and shit, and they all hate light skinned people. So it's even worse. I've seen what it is down south. I know how they treat y'all, but up north it's like it's really bad. Anyways, especially if you're just a regular American, if you're just a regular American and you're light skinned, you're fucked. Even some Caribbeans, like I said, unless you're Hispanic, I don't even like to use that term because that's from the island. That's referring to people from the island of Hispaniola. I said Hispaniola. Forget my don't mind my pronunciation. But yeah, that's just refers to Dominicans and Haitians. That is the same island that they're on. Anyways, I wanted to bring up. So now that I got that out the way, it's not more structured. I'm gonna make more structured videos pretty soon. I'm just going on rants. This is more like a rant addressing something. But anyways, also like, and the reason why, like Pariah, I know he made a comment talking about Will Smith and the lady in the video with the light skin dark skin debate versus dark skin debate. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. I'm really tired. I just want to get this video out the way. Since I haven't made one in a while. The reason y'all don't really understand that would be classified as light skin is because anybody, from what I've seen down south, anybody who is at least caramel complexion is not considered light skin down south. Sometimes up north that could be a thing too, but they're still light skin. And that didn't make any sense to y'all, but let me explain something to you. So, I've been called light skin my whole life. And now that there's people who are very, very high yellow, they don't tan. And I know that's the thing, some things down south, some people don't tan. They don't get darker. If you catch me, I'll be pale during one part. Sometimes in the winter, I'll be pale or dark depending on how I'll be outside. I get hit by the sun and outside. In the winter, I get dark. So sometimes I'll be on the more brown skin side. But trust me, you catch me any other time, I'm pale as hell. Sometimes I'm caramel. Sometimes I'm high yellow. And that's why they group us more light-skinned people in who are on the more brown skin side as light-skinned, because we are. But if you look at anybody who's really light brown skin, they're less light-skinned people who live in areas that have high UV and beaming sun most of the year. Even if they snow, there's more sun than you're ever gonna see up north. You're not gonna see that much snow. That's a snow, sun up north. If I live down south, I'd be so dark. Like some people just tan. Will Smith, I know Pariah said something about Will Smith being grouped in as light skin and him slapping. See, his ass was light skinned as hell. And I'm sure he got a lot of sun too when he was filming. He was filming in hot areas then and outside in Philly in the sun. So we may not get a lot of sun up north. But the summer basically tan you the whole year. Will tan you the whole year. But trust me, we are light skinned. And if you see into how dark the people are up north, especially in the bigger cities, yo, you would understand why. If any dark skinned person from down south came up here saying that they were dark skinned, they would laugh in their face. And they do it all the time. I've seen this in person. Somebody coming from a different area saying that they're dark skinned in New York, right? They'll laugh in your motherfucking face. Same with Jersey. They will laugh in your face. These people who are so black, they're purple. You see it all the time. It's normal to us. If y'all seen that, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't understand. Let me just put it like that. You rarely see that down south. You know, most of them people, if they are dark down south, they're two-tone because of the sun. They are lighter. Their baseline skin color is lighter. So yeah, brown skin people are light skin. And I also made a comment talking about how light skin mulattoes are the same shit because they are. Before the DNA test, I made it on Pariah's channel. I don't think my comment stayed. It could have been my language. It could have been, I don't know. But before the DNA test, they would have classified you as mulatto regardless. Instead of trying to separate each other, because that's what they want. We need to stop doing that shit. Because let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, the people who they classify as light-skinned blacks have 20%, 15%, 25%, other are maybe 30%. And because they come from darker parents, they allow them to pass as light-skinned black people. Yeah, they're mostly black. They have mostly black DNA. It does separate them from straight up people who have a parent from one background. So let's say Asian or white and a black parent. So it definitely separates them in a way, but not as much as you think. Let me tell you something. And I know I keep saying let me tell you something. I'm saying that because, like I said, I'm tired. I want to make more structured rants in the future. More structured videos, not rants. And deter away from the rants. But anyways. Like I said, look at Playboy Max. Or Blackboy Max, whatever the hell they call him. You don't have to like him. You don't know him. Go look him up. Recently, I seen his DNA test. He came out to be 70% black or so. Everybody was so surprised that he had that high amount of African. And they always called him biracial, even though they never seen his parents a day in their life. The same people seen his parents. Now, his dad is on the very lighter side of brown skin. I'm pretty sure it's probably from a tan. Just like Chance the Rapper. His ass is light skin. People forget. Up north, we get sun too, even though it's not as much as the people down south. Lots of the people down south who are making fun of you for being light skinned are light skinned themselves. Don't believe me? Tell them show their arms. Their shoulders. How about that? And you'll see some people just tan. They just got to throw you out under the bus. Anyways, with this situation, when he showed his parents, his mom is light skinned, but on like the caramel side of light skin. I'm sure that's tan too. She has like curly hair. Oh, you could tell both his parents are mixed. Now, look at Storm Reed. That's what everybody says. Some of them were defending him after seeing that, but lots of them were still trying to fucking mask their ignorance by saying, "Oh, you could tell that they have a mixture." Now, Storm Reed, she's a unambiguous light-skinned woman. She's this, bro. If you look at her parents, they're from Atlanta, right? Not like I'm trying to look into these people's all lies, but it's the truth. They're from Atlanta. There's way more sun than you're ever gonna see in New Jersey, where Black Boy Max is from, and you know. And recently there was just a situation with Black Boy Max with Lil Baby asking if he was white. I don't know if that was just based off the fact because he thought he was light skinned, he could punk his ass. And how he carries himself, or if it was just because of how he was talking, also because he's not ghetto. You know, you would never, if somebody asked Storm Reed that, it would be a whole bunch of comments saying this, and that. But they still use Storm Reed as a scapegoat. They're gonna still say she has light skin privilege, and that the reason why she's light skinned is because her 20% of her 20% white DNA, maybe yes, he possibly has, was just stronger than her black DNA. She has white man. They say a whole bunch of fucked up shit, and if you're up north, you'll realize how more prominent it is. But that's not the point. There are people who have one parent that is mostly black, or a mostly black Bantu, or fully 90 to 100%, which this high 90s to put it like that, and have a biracial parent, or parent who has two mixed parents, right? And they have blacker DNA than a lot of these fully black light skinned people. It's the truth. Two people who have 60% black DNA and have more of a black phenotype, they have lighter brown skin, get together, do the math. Or 70%. Somebody who has one darker skin parent and a biracial parent is going to come out blacker DNA wise 9 times out of 10. I'm sure that if Storm Reed doesn't have the same amount of black and white DNA as Black Boy Max probably has more. But because if you look at his parents, both of them are brown skin. Not one of them's light skin, one of them brown skin. Both of them are brown skin, light brown skin, and you could tell just by looking at their skin tone that if they were to go up north for 6 months in the freezing fucking cold, because we have damn near year-round coldness, especially depending on where you're at. Go up to upstate New York, right? Go up there, and you see how much their skin would lighten, how that energy would change. Oh, now I realize why she's light-skinned and she has curly hair and she has this. Now, I'm not saying that the so-called lighter-skinned, fully black people, I like to say mostly black, because most of them dark-skinned people are not even brown-skinned people. They're not even fully black. I've seen so many light-skinned people who have more black DNA than these dark-skinned and brown-skinned people. So it don't matter how black you are, they're going to still put you in the same category as anyone else who they don't view as black, because you are light-skinned. So yes, it's the same thing. And a lot of these people, because they come from even darker brown skinned people who are really lighter, have kids or have parents who are mixed or light skinned, have parents, like I said, I just said it. Oh my God, I'm falling asleep. But like, who have parents who are mixed or light skinned. I made videos on that I'm gonna release. You know, it's a rant, so there might be a little bit of contradictions. I don't know. But I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But I made videos on how light skinned people get together and make dark skinned kids all the time. It happened throughout my family. I see it all the time, dark skinned and brown skinned kids. So, you know, a lot of these dark skinned people who are getting together and making light skinned kids have mixed people throughout their lineage. Them themselves are mixed. But they don't say shit because they are dark and brown. This is what I'm saying. Trying to separate mulattoes and light skins, it's the same shit. They're both light skinned people. I even made a community post. I didn't get any responses or anything. And I'm going to explain that community post right now. So you see all the Haitian revolts. And this is not an attack on Haitians either. But you see how fucked up and disgusting they are towards other light-skinned people. I've had so many, like I said, I live up north. So I be around a whole bunch of Caribbeans and Africans. And while most of my DNA is American, I do have some Caribbean influence. And if you see Black Americans up here, they're a lot darker too because they mix with Caribbeans and Africans. So, yeah, I have some Caribbean. And there's been a lot of Haitian people who are light-skinned who came up to me. Said I literally had to leave my country because how they treated light-skinned people. And I just seen recently, if you look at my community posts, you know, they'll try to tell us, and that's why I'm not for the separating of mulatto and light-skinned people. It's the same shit. Before the DNA test, they would have threw you in. I don't know how many times I had to stress this, but everybody has a difference of opinion, right? Everybody was mulatto before, right? You know, because they figured that somewhere in your DNA was strong enough to make you light skinned. That's what they think. Whether that's true or not, whether that's ignorant or not, that's what they think. And that's what they've always thought. And that's dark people and that's white people. So we base it off what they think. I'm not saying we should base it off what they think, because that's ignorant too. But at the end of the day, we the same shit. Shouldn't have to show your parents to prove shit. Anyways, and that's what they want you to do. And even if you do that, it won't be enough. I'm not doing that. But that's not the point. The Haitian revolution, the revolts and everything, you know why that's recognized? And it's crazy. There's lots of light-skinned Haitians who were involved in those revolts and led those revolts. It's about dark-skin supremacy. There was plenty of light-skinned people, and I made the post. If you read it, you will you'll understand what I'm trying to say. And I'm not randomly coming at Haitian people. There was a Haitian woman in the comments, lady, I don't know, Haitian person saying that if you don't have 4 Black grandparents, you're disqualified from talking about slavery. One, she's Haitian. Did you not know that Haitian slaves actually outnumbered the white folks? The French people, 90, with themselves, they outnumbered the hell out of these colonizers, they say, right? Now, if you combine everybody, including the indigenous, they outnumbered these people 90 to 10%. But there's been plenty of light-skinned slave revolts, mulatto slave revolts. Nobody says shit about it. And the reason why I made that post was because when she said 4 black grandparents, she meant dark skin. Dark skin. Not you motherfuckers who claim to be fully black and light skin. No. No. Because even if they accept you, that is to drag you in and scapegoat you because they feel like you have something to prove to them. Because at the end of the day, they're going to say you still have white people genes. No matter how high. You could have blacker DNA than them. You know many, I just seen hella TikToks of many very, very, very dark people or people who were just darker skinned. And you could tell their skin tone was natural, but they were only 40% African. In the 50s. But they weren't on their ass. That's their brother. I've seen plenty of videos of what you would call a light-skinned, fully black or mostly black person, ranging from 70 to 90% black. They'll go break down the regions. The Khoisan, if I said that right. They'll break shit down, right? When it comes to light-skinned people. Oh, well, only because it's kind of true that if you get that on the DNA test, it doesn't exclude you from being mixed, because a lot of them people, except for the West Africans and the Europeans, would be the so-called purists. I mean, there's other regions too. So they're the reference populations. That's how it worked. I'm gonna get into that a little bit deeper now. I might as well, because I'm about to, after this, okay, anyway. So they're the reference populations. Everyone else, Hispanics, are very mixed. But they're seen as their own. It's really hard to say where Asians' origins actually came from. So you'll see North Africans, East Africans, they'll test as their own. In reality, they have ancient mixing. They only compare to themselves. They've mixed for so long that they branched onto their own ethnic group. Now, mulattoes, it's more so, okay, they're West African in this. So the DNA test is more geared towards people who are black and white, black or white, or both, or it's not really, like, even if you look on there, you see Native American is seen as its own. You'll be 100% Native American, but they're categorized under East Asian, Siberian, and it goes to show you, yeah, because that's where their ancestors came from. But they will tell them that they're 100%. Actually, it's not even, sometimes it's not even classified under that group. But that's where their ancestors are scientifically proved to come from. And there's no shade or hate towards them. There's nothing wrong with that. They're still Native Americans. I'm not one of those Aboriginal motherfuckers. I don't, any black rhetoric, I don't agree with. Kind of, I will say I don't believe that everybody, because I'm into science, like I said, a lot of these DNA tests, the reference populations are based off Africans. Africans are, it does not prove that there was no other people with melanated skin that lived over there. That just means that them people got raped or willingly mixed with people. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that they're the almighty gods, and that's why we gotta drop this shit, because black Americans want to follow that. They don't have no thought for themselves. They can't think for themselves. And that's what I've seen. But long story short, I'm gonna explain to you. I'm gonna put together what, because I know I'm tired. I'm stuttering. I know y'all probably getting sick of it. So basically, West Africans, Europeans, anyone who's clearly a pure African, and it's actually pure, not like fully black, like Black Americans say it, where they're really 80% African. I mean pure. I mean, and I want to clarify something before I explain this to you. These people, I never really understood. Them putting these people on a pedestal because they're pure African, because these are the same people who are, according to history, who willingly sold them. You will never see an European or Asian sell their people to Africans, or a European sell their people to Asians or Africans, or an Asian sell their people to Europeans or Africans. And that's all nationalities. Even if they had beef, they wouldn't do that shit. They're not disloyal. Africans at the time had arrows and was lighting Europeans up. So they just willingly sold them. And now they're bragging about it and how your ancestors got raped and willingly mixed. Even if you willingly mix, it's like you're a prisoner of war. Before, like in the 50s. Because in my own family, there was no willingly mixing shit. It was either you're gonna sleep with, if you're working, you're a maid at some white family's house, some big white family in town's house, and he wants to sleep with you. You better give it up, or he's gonna kill you, because he could do that. So these are the same people making fun of your ancestors, because a lot of these dark-skinned Black Americans forget that their ancestors were mulatto too. Dumb motherfuckers. You're agreeing with these people. But anyway, I will say, from a scientific standpoint, a lot of Somalis will get on here talking shit, talking about how Black American people, when they're talking about Black American people, they're talking about light-skinned people. Even though them dark-skinned blacks too, the lots of them have mulatto ancestors. They're talking about light-skinned people, not real. They're talking about light-skinned people, not people they consider real Black Americans, and the people that they want to isolate. Even though we could have more Black DNA than them, they get on here talking about y'all had white man's blood. Somalis, Eritreans, and there's no hate towards them. And a lot of the Ethiopians, they're mixed. They are more mixed than recently mixed people. Yes, they are. So from a scientific standpoint, unless you are composed of certain regions of Africa, unless you come from Bantu and European lineage, and East Asian, Bantu, European, East Asian lineage. Southeast Asian is there's a gray area on that, because unless you come from, like I said, those regions, you're composed of all those things. That's also not true, because there are Negritos, like the Melanesians. I can get into that, but this is a channel about light skin. It just ties into that. So no, you're not really composed of it, but those are the reference populations. So what happens is Somalis, Eritreans, Ethiopians, the Khoisan, if there was any admixture, I agree that a lot of them could have just been light skinned. Lots of Africans could, you know what I'm saying? Dark skinned people, it's not all about dark skin supremacy. There was light skinned people before then, yes. But their admixture wouldn't show up because they're only comparable to each other. Their DNA is unique because throughout years, they've been mixing with people. So they became their own ethnic group. So if you go get a DNA test and you have a very ambiguous, there's plenty of Black American people, right? so-called black American. That's for entertainment, but they're really not black to them because they're light-skinned people who are 85% black and they look biracial. Yeah, that's true. But we're talking about Somalis and shit here. They branched onto their own ethnic group, so they get a DNA test, even though they are mixed. They are going to say these East Africans. They're gonna say that they're 100% of whatever they are. So technically, as a black American, a Caribbean, I did not mention a few groups that if you get on the DNA test, it's definitely, but you get what I'm saying. They're the reference populations 9 times out of 10 because they're the so-called purists, untouched. And 9 times out of 10, they're the purists and untouched because they're slimy and they're the ones doing the touching. Or they're selling their own people out so they can get touched instead of working together. You know what I'm saying? Ethiopians look way different. The original Ethiopians. So do the Eritreans. So I'm not all about dark skin supremacy. I do, don't take it as if me telling you this. I'm just telling the fucking truth. I don't agree with that dark skin supremacy shit because they were so supreme. They stand up and get together and do something. But they don't do shit. It's always just light-skinned mulatto people. I don't even like to separate the two like I keep saying. Us light-skinned people in general. Doing this shit. Putting on for this. We do this. And really, lots of black American people, like I said, they're not really even dark-skinned. How you will see some... I did see some South Carolina Gullah Geechee people, North Carolina, whatever. But even then, they still weren't as dark as you're gonna see up here up north. Yeah, I do believe there were a lot of light skinned people before that admixture. There was variation, but if we're talking about for real in Caribbean and Black Americans, which is funny, a lot of motherfuckers are just mixed. Justine Skye, they accept her as black. I've seen plenty of so-called people who claim to be Black American, who are light skinned. They shouldn't be claiming Black American because they are not accepted. Who are higher concentration of black DNA, so-called black DNA, right? And they get excluded from everything. So, anyways, I was all over the place. You may not understand the message that I'm trying to make. I'm gonna make more structured videos on these topics individually. I just wanted to respond to Pariah, Disciple, let him know the truth because all this internet shit is different. Yeah, he's from North Carolina or whatever. It's different when you from North Carolina and you seeing shit, and you're hearing shit online, but in all reality, up here, northern light skin hate is worse. You'd have to be up here to see that. You know what I'm saying? If you go to New York, Pariah, one day if you ever go to New York, from your phenotype, to me, I wouldn't classify you in either group. But if you go to New York right now, they're gonna ask if you're Puerto Rican or Dominican, and if you don't say that you are, or matter of fact, they're not even gonna ask because they're gonna know. They be around Puerto Ricans and Dominicans too much, and even other Caribbean light-skinned people to know. They already know that you're not, unless somehow you do have some in you, but unless your parents come from a Caribbean country or your grandparents, they're gonna look at you like you have fucking like a chicken with its fucking head cut off. Like, they're gonna look at you crazy, like, and they're gonna treat you crazy. The many of us who aren't, these motherfuckers treat Black Americans who are dark skinned weird. And that's why the lots of the dark skins end up meat riding them and following whatever they want them to follow, so they could fit in. Imagine how they treat us light skinned people up here, especially if you ain't Puerto Rican or Dominican, because they know them Puerto Ricans and Dominicans stay together. I made a video on that with how light skinned historian was talking about the Mexicans, and they do the same things with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. They don't fuck with Puerto Rican and Dominican gangs up here. They don't play with these people. No matter how so-called soft and feminine they look, they don't do that. And if they do, they'll be on the lighter side. But if you see like a brown skin or darker skinned person who has light eyes and curly hair and a Dominican and Puerto Rican, they definitely ain't fucking with them. So yes, some of our light skinned and Puerto Rican brothers, light skinned Dominican Puerto Rican brothers who had the phenotype do have to deal with it. But Dominicans and Puerto Ricans stick together, so it's like, and Cubans, they all stick together. So no matter what shade they are, there might be a little bit of light skin hate, but it's more so from outside groups that people do that. And even if they do, they know not to go as far as putting their hands. If they hate on a light skinned person, and let's say you live in New York or Jersey, right? If they hate on a light skinned Puerto Rican person or Dominican person with that phenotype, they know not to go too far, because throughout their whole family and friend groups, there's different shades. But they don't give a fuck. They will get touched, because a lot of the dark-skinned Bantu phenotypes up here, especially up here, just like down south, they scared of the Mexicans, and the West Coast where they scared of the Mexicans. Like we have less Mexicans. We do have some Mexicans, but it's more so. It varies, but it's more so Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, Colombian, South American type people. You know, they don't play that shit at all. So they don't go as far as to putting their hands on them. You know. But anyways, I'm all over the place. Hopefully I know it's not as structured, and you know, it's kind of hard to understand me sometimes. Hopefully this brought up some new thoughts for y'all. I'm gonna make lots of structured videos one day, so I can go more in depth on these topics. Depth, shit. It's really hard for me to speak right now. Anyways, I hope it helped you. I hope it made you think. I'm gonna release a few more videos. I gotta edit. And I'll see you next time.